Hello, guys. Again, I was just having some technical difficulties, which is not hard. It's something that always seems to happen on my shows. But welcome to New Zealand Mysteries. I'm TJ. If you haven't been here before, New Zealand Mysteries, the live stream is where we discuss cases from the US and around the world. We hang out and talk about them, have a bit of fun. I also do heaps of videos about cold cases from New Zealand. So if this is your thing, then please watch my videos. I just need to play my webcam. Yeah. So if that seems like your thing, please like and subscribe and hang around and see what we've got going on. Hello, Curious. It's good to see you. Pam, my darling, it's always very good to see you. And Pookie, I'm glad you could make it. I wanted to also say thank you for that super chat yesterday. That was just broke my heart, made me go warm and fuzzy. You know, guys, you know what I'm like. I'm always tired, and always tired today as well. Very tired, but we'll see how far we can get. So I think I'm going to just stick on the one case today, and that's going to be the Michigan school shooting. Hello, Spy. Welcome. Good to see you. Because I've got quite a lot of information. We've got quite a lot of videos to go through and talk about. I do want to give a trigger warning, and if mods can put that, occasionally in the chat. Hey, Lisa. Lisa says, I'm listening and driving home from work also. That's also again awesome. TJ's tired, it's going to be fun. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I have a good platform that's relatively new, so it gives me the chance to try out new stuff, right? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I know that I can try it with you guys, with the support that I have. So I'm trying to think of things that I could give members in exchange for helping me, obviously, because I think it's so wonderful. And so is every other way people help me. Don't get me wrong, everything is wonderful. But I'm going to try this new thing is membership. If you are a member, you can have a wrench and be a mod if you want to. So if you're a member, reach out to me if you want to be a mod. It's just a trial. Oh, bugger. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just saying. All right. Did you curious? You sound so naked. I am. I had one 10-hour shift yesterday, and it's the first time I've worked in like a week. And just that 10.5-hour shift just knocked me. It's just so bad. But, I did go and do that sleep test in the hospital on Monday. So I hope that I don't want them to find something wrong, but I do want them to find something wrong because then they might be able to fix it. So, yeah. I've got a Barocca from my cool cup that my son bought me for graduating my course, which I love. So, yeah. Let's start. I wanted to show you something. And just to mention, I mean, everybody knows about my videos, but this is actually the New Zealand Mysteries website. I've been working on it for a few years, and I basically wanted to be an all-in-one purpose place where people could come to find out about statistics. If they have a person missing, where do they go and what do they do about it? How do they find missing people overseas? Useful websites for people that need help with domestic violence or anything like that. And then we've got all of these missing people in New Zealand that have got a blurb about them, and tells you a little bit about what happened, and these are unsolved murders. So it's basically like a database of all the missing people and cold cases in New Zealand, and a lovely lady, Gemma, has been helping me because I haven't had the energy or time to do it. But yeah, check it out sometime, guys, because a lot of work has gone into it. Just saying. Just saying. And quickly, too, in New Zealand, if you've been watching my videos, a 60-year-old man, I think he's about 60, has gone missing. He just walked out of his work and has never been seen again. This was only like a day or two ago, but I mean, this is the Facebook group that the family have set up, and they're just going hammer and tongue. They really are. They got searches going. They've got over 7,000 people on this page. Heaps of people are helping. People are doing flyers for them, all sorts of shit. So, yeah, it's sad that he hasn't been found yet, unfortunately. Okay, so I found a lot of videos, and we've got some stuff to read, or I've got some stuff to try and read, and to help us make sense of this Michigan shooting. And I want to discuss a lot of parts about it. I want to have a discussion that doesn't need to get nasty, because that's not what we're about in here. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people have different opinions. So let's see if this works. Hopefully my computer will do the best job ever today. Let's listen.
There will be several arrested for yesterday's Michigan school shooting.
If you can hear.
As an adult, and is being held in county jail there without bail. Police say Ethan Crumbley killed 4 of his fellow students and wounded 7 others, including a teacher. Investigators have not revealed the motive, but did say there is a mountain of evidence, including cell phone video and a journal detailing Crumbley's plans to shoot and kill students. Last night, FBI agents pulled what appeared to be several long guns from the teenager's family home. Fox 4's Lynn Ann Wynn has the latest tonight. Lynn Ann.
Steve, 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley is facing multiple...
Sorry, I missed that, Curious. Where'd you go? Hello, Miss Justice. Welcome home. Curious, so strange. Looks like he got a toolbox with him. He was carrying that blue backpack, and when he was later seen in CCTV, he had like a red hat on, so I'm presuming that's what that was. Miss Justice, welcome. We're just getting started into the case, so you haven't missed much.
Counts of first-degree murder, terrorism, assault, and possession of a firearm. Altogether, 23 charges so far. Prosecutors also adding today they are also considering charges for both of his parents.
They were not engaging in behavior. They were innocent children who went to school.
The Oakland County community is still reeling from the deaths of now 4 students killed in Tuesday's Oxford High School shooting. The 4th victim, 17-year-old Justin Schilling, died Wednesday morning. Loved ones sharing he was co-captain of the bowling team and a golfer. 7 others remain hospitalized with gunshot wounds, some in critical and serious condition. Countless others scarred from what they experienced, leading the Oakland County prosecutor to add terrorism to the list of charges.
What about all these other children? What about all the children who ran, screaming, hiding under desks? What about all the children at home right now who can't eat and can't sleep and can't imagine a world where they could ever step back in that school? Those are victims too.
The suspect, 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, making his first court appearance virtually Wednesday afternoon. His parents also listening in as sheriff's investigators revealed the evidence against him.
2 separate videos were recovered from Ethan's cell phone, taking a search warrant, depicted a video made by him the night before the incident, wherein he talked about shooting and killing students the next day at Oxford High School.
Investigators also have school surveillance video showing Crumbley exiting a bathroom and shooting at fleeing students. They say they recovered a journal from Crumbley's backpack where he detailed his plans.
A preliminary review of social media accounts indicate that Ethan Crumbley had access to a firearm and he practiced with a 6-hour handgun.
Investigators also revealing that Crumbley's parents were called to the school for concerns about his behavior hours before the shooting, but that he was allowed to remain at school. Prosecutors say there's no question the shooting was premeditated.
We've charged 4 counts of first-degree murder, which requires premeditation. And I am absolutely sure, after reviewing the evidence, that it isn't even a close call. It was absolutely premeditated.
And prosecutors say that they will be making a decision on whether or not they will possibly charge the suspect's parents swiftly. His father purchased the gun supposedly used in the shooting just 4 days prior.
The 15-year-old accused gun.
All right. So that is in the description box below if you want to watch it. That is Fox 4 Dallas Fort Worth News. So they give you a bit of an outline. 1,800 students, Little Perky. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids. That's a huge school. Curious, I seen that. Was that about that Joe Pryor, the guy that we were missing? Sorry to bang on. In one of the photos, he has a black backpack in one hand and what looks like a toolbox or lunchbox in the other. Okay, once we finish this, we'll go back and have a look. His parents are awful. Yeah, I know people are going to have. This is why I gave a bit of a trigger warning. That I know people are going to have some real high emotions around this. We can still have high emotions. We can still say our piece as long as there's no name calling or anything that's really nasty. Okay, Joe, welcome, first time watcher. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the family. Little Perky, the parents had a meeting around 10 and the first help call came in at 12:52. Yeah, I'm going to read something about that very shortly. Fox 2 is Detroit, isn't it? Well, yeah. Okay, I don't know. You guys would know me. I'm just a Kiwi talking to you about what's going on in your country. No worries, Joe. So the next one is actually something I want to read. And it's a wee bit long, so I'll try to break it up and not make it sound too monotone. This is on nypost.com. On November 29, the suspect was discovered by a teacher to be viewing images of bullets on his cell phone during class. The suspect met with a counsellor and another staff member and indicated he and his mother recently went to the shooting range and that shooting sports are a family hobby. Consistent with our school policies and procedures, the school attempted to make contact with the student's mother to discuss the incident, but did not initially hear back. The next day, his parents confirmed the account. On the morning of November 30, a teacher observed concerning drawings and written statements that had been detailed in media reports, which the teacher reported to school counsellors and the dean of students. So this teacher's doing the right thing, obviously. She's twice now going to people and saying, hey, this isn't right. The student was immediately removed from the classroom and brought to the guidance counsellor's office, where he claimed the drawing was part of a video game he was designing and informed counsellors that he planned to pursue video game design as a career. The student's parents were also called in. Because it was difficult to reach the parents, the student remained in the office for an hour and a half while counsellors continued to observe, analyse and speak with him. While waiting for his parents to arrive, the student verbalised his concern he would be missing homework assignments. Yeah, right. Who cares about homework assignments? He requested his science homework, which he then worked on while in the office. At no time did counsellors believe the student might harm others based on his behaviour, responses or demeanour, which appeared calm. In addition, despite media reports, whether or not the gun was in his backpack has not been confirmed by law enforcement to our knowledge, nor by our investigation at this time. Oh, I'm halfway through it. You're just being nice. My service is not good tonight. I keep buffering. Oh, what a pain in the ass. Okay, I'll read some of this. While both of his parents were present, counsellors asked specific probing questions regarding the potential for self-harm or harm to others. His answers, which were affirmed by his parents during the interview, led counsellors to again conclude he did not intend on committing either self-harm or harm to others. The student's parents never advised the school district that he had direct access to a firearm or that they had recently purchased a firearm for him. Counselling was recommended for him, and his parents were notified that they had 48 hours to seek counselling for their child, or the school would contact Child Protective Services. When the parents were asked to take their son home for the day, they flatly refused and left without their son, apparently to return to work. I've actually heard another, someone said something different about that they said it was the teachers that decided to put him back in class, not the parents, but this is what we've got to work with. Given the fact that the child had no prior disciplinary infractions, the decision was made he would be returned to the classroom rather than sent home to an empty house. These incidents remained at the guidance counsellor level, and we were never elevated to the principal or principal's office. While we understand this decision has caused anger, confusion, and prompted understandable questioning, the counsellors made a judgment based on their professional training and clinical experience, and did not have all the facts we know now. Our counsellors are deeply committed, long-standing school members who have dedicated their lives to supporting students and addressing student mental health and behaviours. Oh, God, that's a long one. What do you think of that? Please remember to hit the thumbs up if you enjoy my content, because I work hard. Please subscribe, it's free. Absolutely. Next. Little Pookie, it is also deer hunting season right now. Looking at anything related to hunting by itself is not alarming. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen you, but I didn't think much of the prosecutor. She couldn't even form a complete sentence without correcting herself at the first press conference. A bit like me. And we will watch her video as well. What is the source of this article? This one came from... It's like the Oxford school itself. Oxford Community Schools. So there also obviously will be a link in the description box below, Pookie, if you want to take a look. Please and thank you. You are so adorable. Hey, well. All right. So, I'm so clumsy. Does it sound loud when I bring things around for you guys? Terrible. Come on, computer. Okay, so I want to play this one. It's a short one.
You are watching the full arraignment of Ethan Crumbley, a 15-year-old being charged as an adult in the murders at that Michigan high school yesterday. They claimed a fourth life today, a 17-year-old student, the fourth victim, succumbing to critical injuries that had occurred yesterday. The assaults are many and the counts are many. 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of assault with intent to murder, 12 counts of possession of a firearm. Crumbley, you might recall, was arrested in the immediate aftermath of the shooting, taken into custody. We also had a chance to see his parents were part of this arraignment process. We learned through the police, the chief of police in the area, that they had been with their son that morning on a school discipline issue that had come up over 2 days.
first on Monday and then separately meeting with some other teachers, we're told, we assume teachers, the very next day. Whether they were with him on both days, it appears that they were with him at this arraignment. Again, just keeping you posted on this. But all of this comes at a time we're learning that there is now apparently a massive amount of digital evidence, videotape, social media, that absolutely confirms that we can show this was a premeditated act. This is coming from the Oakland County
So he left a good trail.
prosecutor. Karen said that this was not just an impulsive act, it was planned. It was very well planned. Let's go to Steve Harrigan right now, following all these developments in Oxford, Michigan. Steve.
Neil, a lot of news coming out about this case and some remarkable images there from the courtroom where you saw the 15-year-old sophomore in a bulletproof vest slumped over, looking very small and not powerful at all. His parents in baseball caps on a different screen at the same time. We've learned that the 15-year-old will be charged as an adult. Charges of first-degree murder that show premeditation. Also, he will face the charge of terrorism that causes death. An unusual charge. The prosecutor explained that, saying this entire community has been terrorized by the 15-year-old's action. And as you referenced, the prosecutor said there was a mountain of digital evidence to show that these shootings were premeditated. Certainly raises the question, if there was so much evidence out there online, why no red flags were raised? As for the shooter himself, we're learning new details about what went on yesterday. Just before 1 p.m., the 15-year-old walked up and down the hallways, firing a SIG-Sauer pistol at extremely close range, hitting fellow students in the head, in the body, at times shooting through barricaded doors to try to kill more. At this point, 4 dead, ages 17, 16, and 14. 7 people still wounded. And certainly a lot of questions raised about what the school knew and when. They held meetings with the 15-year-old the day before the shooting. The day of the shooting, just 2 hours before the rampage, both parents, the shooter, and administration officials met in that school. 2 hours later, he came out of the bathroom firing. Neil.
Steve, do we know whether he targeted his victims, the 4 who died, the 7 others who were injured, I believe 2 others quickly? Do we know whether they were his intended targets, that he was searching for them?
Officials right now aren't saying either way whether they were targeted or not. But from the description of the firing, walking up and down halls, firing at people at close range and firing in the classrooms, it does not seem that he targeted the people hit. Again, 4 killed, 7 wounded, 1 teacher wounded, and 1 14-year-old still in critical condition at this time. So those numbers could change even more, Neil.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, not good, not good. Wyoming, it's so good to see you, my dear. So, where was that message? I'm curious. Do they think the parents helped plan it? No, I don't think the parents helped plan it, but there was a lot of red flags and some poor decisions made by them. And if they'd made different ones, then this could have been avoided. And we'll go through those as well, because they're all pretty shocking. I don't think anyone thinks the parents knew it was intent to shoot at school. Right. Kayla, hey there. Good to see you. Welcome back. Mullet, welcome back. I don't think they helped him. Willful ignorance, maybe, and clear neglect of doing their due diligence. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Were they hunters? Not that I know of, but they did go down to the shooting range a lot. So again, everything that you need to know is in the description box below. If you're coming in now, I've made a new thing for memberships. If you become a member, you immediately become a mod. It's just a trial thing because I can take mods away anytime I like. Doesn't mean I'm going to choose other mods that aren't members, because I will. But that's the perk for signing up for the membership. All right, keep going. On the rocks. Hey, good to see you. So let's look at the next one that I've got lined up. And this was a good one. It's good to see you. Once we've sort of gone through these, then I'd really like to have a discussion about the whole thing and what everyone thinks about it. Because there's just so much on it, really. Come on, computer. Be good today. Come on, computer. Computer. Do you know I was at work last night? The computer was starting to do the funky chicken. I had to go downstairs and have a coffee.
While the shooter was the one who entered the house and pulled the trigger, there are other individuals who contributed to the events on November 30th, and it's my intention to hold them accountable. We prevent this from happening again. No other parent or community should live through this nightmare. I have shared previously, and I will reiterate today, that gun ownership is a right, and with that right comes great responsibility. Based on the information and evidence I have received, today I am announcing charges against the shooter's parents, Jennifer and James Crumbly. The charges are as follows. James Crumbly is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Jennifer Crumbly is also charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. I want to be really clear that these charges are intended to hold the individuals who contributed to this tragedy accountable and also send a message that gun owners have a responsibility. When they fail to uphold that responsibility, there are serious and criminal consequences.
It's extremely rare for parents to be charged in school shootings. Are you trying to set a new standard, or is the evidence simply overwhelming in this case?
I have tremendous compassion and empathy for parents who have children who are struggling and at risk for whatever reason. And I am by no means saying that an active shooter situation should always result in a criminal prosecution against parents. But the facts of this case are so egregious.
This case is going to be so important for you guys in America, because if they indeed convict the parents of something, that means that every time your child does something wrong, you can be arrested and charged for it. Can you imagine a life like that?
Ain't no justice. We are the change.
Shut up. That's not a life that's gonna be easy or nice at all. Curious, does the US have gun laws, or is it a free? Yeah, you guys, it looks like a free-for-all from where we are sitting in New Zealand. It looks like you can just go out and go, hey, can I have a gun? And you get one. We don't have that here. We don't carry guns. They're not in our society, only in gangs and the police, really. Wyoming says, yes, I agree with that lady about responsibility. Yes, TJ, it is. Right, so I'm going to read a little bit of this just so we know the facts in the case. So the gun was an early Christmas present from his parents. A semi-automatic 9mm Sig Sauer hot handgun. I don't even know. My new beauty, Ethan Crumbly, 15, called it. The day after Thanksgiving, he and his father had gone together to a Michigan gun shop to buy it. He and his father had gone together. He and his mother spent a day testing out the gun, which was stored unlocked in the parents' bedroom. Now, Michigan doesn't actually have any laws that say that they have to lock their guns away, which blows my mind. Just saying. He and his mother spent the day testing out the gun, which was stored here in the bedroom. On Monday, when a teacher reported seeing their son searching online for ammunition, his mother did not seem alarmed. But she sent a text to her son. LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught. A day later, the authorities said the teenager fatally shot 4 classmates in the halls of Oxford High School using the handgun his parents had bought him. Miss McDonald said the Crumleys were culpable in the year's deadliest school shooting because they had allowed their son access to a handgun while ignoring glaring warnings that he was on the brink of violence. Law enforcement officials said that the parents had gone missing on Friday afternoon, leading to a manhunt that involved county's fugitive apprehension team, FBI agents, and United State Marshals. Early Saturday morning, after receiving a tip, the police arrested the parents after finding them in a commercial building in Detroit. Later that morning, the couple were arraigned and listening to the charges by video conference. They pleaded not guilty to all charges. Lawyers for the parents said the Crumleys had not fled, but had left town for their own safety and were planning to return for the arraignment, attributing the confusion to a miscommunication with the prosecutor's office. So they're trying to make some really, we weren't running. Where are we up to? Wyoming, you have some gun laws. Pookie said, this is the first time parents have been charged. That's right. So it's going to set a precedent. Yeah, for you guys, I think. That if your son or daughter goes and does something massive like this or whatever, who knows, then you could be brought in and prosecuted. Mullet says when a child hurts himself from a bad home environment, like burning themselves, for example, there is a responsibility on the parent for that happening. This could be along the same thread as that. Yeah, possibility, yeah. Curious says, so the laws need tightened up. I know it's a touchy subject. Yeah, it is a touchy subject. And it's hard, like, because I don't want to feel like I'm just this Kiwi that's talking about what you guys do over there. But is it too late? I feel like the genie was in the bottle and now it's escaped. Like, there's so many guns out there that even if your dad didn't buy him one, he could have got it, on the black market. I don't know. It didn't have them properly stored. No, and apparently in Michigan you don't have to. All states have different gun laws. Yeah, that's what makes it hard too in America, because you've got 50 different rules. Whereas in New Zealand we just have one. On the rocks, I think they were not acting in child's best interest. They chose poorly. Yeah. Pam says it's like that already in the States. If a child is underage and having legal issues and parents don't help straighten child out, they will contain both parents and child. Example, not attending school. That may be a good idea. Maybe needs to be what happened. There are background checks, fingerprinting, and a waiting period from application to getting a gun and age requirements. Is that just in your state, Pookie, or is that everywhere? Wyoming says, my state happens to not have very many gun laws. I worked in a sports goods store and sold guns. If you want to know anything about it, I can answer your question. Well, I'll keep that in mind, honey. Later, will parents that buy a teen a car be responsible for an auto accident? Absolutely. This is why I'm saying that this is going to be so unprecedented, because it's saying that parents could be charged and sent to prison for the rest of their lives for something that their child did. It bothers me. Yes, I think that they need to go to jail for a little while. They did wrong. They made some poor choices. They tried to run, which we'll get into as well. But they've got four charges of involuntary manslaughter, right? Not just one. They've got 4. And now they're going to have other stuff piled on because of trying to flee and all that as well. But they're looking at getting like 60 years. And if they get 60 years, they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. Is that right for what their kid did? Little Peaky said, Wyoming, there are background checks to get a gun there. Mental health problems. Yeah, possibly wanted to talk about that as well. That's why if the mods could just sort of put a trigger warning up every now and again, just to let people know that when they come in, what we're talking about. Interesting, they are charging the parents for his behavior, but charging him as an adult. Yeah, that's a good point too. The Americans need their guns taken away from them. Yeah, I would love for that to happen, Will, but I think that there are so many millions of guns out there that it's just never going to happen. They're not going to be able to get them. I think, Pandora's box has been opened and the only thing they could do is stop selling them. I don't know. Isn't bow check on long guns only? I don't know what that means. Wyoming says, yes, there's background checks. One problem is people buy from others. Yeah, on the underground black market. No guns, no violence. Well, I mean, look at us in New Zealand here. After the mosque shootings, the Prime Minister did a big buyback gun collection, and they got quite a few. But not all the criminals out there with guns are going to say, oh, yeah, have this one. And our gun crime, which isn't like nothing like you guys, we've been getting more like one a week in New Zealand for a few months now, and that's quite scary for us because that's guns in the community that we don't know about. All guns for all gun types. Mullet says, Kiwi, that's a good point. Can't have it both ways. He's too young to be responsible or he's an adult. I think you would have to pick one in that case. It's going to be an interesting trial, and I definitely think it's one that I'm going to cover if I can. Yeah, they will. They'll always get a gun. He is too young to legally own a gun, so Dad purchased it for him. Shaking my head. All right. So, was just the one I just read. Did I just read this one, guys? Oh, just like, how you can get stars or something like that. Just put a star and just put trigger warning and then another star and big letters and underneath it just say we may talk about stuff that bothers people or something. I purchased one, gone on my life. It was 2-shooter. I live in the middle of Trump country, says Mullet. These people will never give up their guns. The second you threaten it, they rush out to buy more. It's not going to happen. Exactly. It's all gone. There's no way they can reel the guns in now, that's for sure. Okay, this is the press conference after the police found the parents after they were running. And it's quite a good one. It gives a lot of information. And one of the things that I find interesting that in there is it's very unlikely that Ethan knew what was going on with his parents, that they were being looked for, which is quite strange. And even though now 3 of them are in jail together, they do not have any contact with each other. And they probably don't even know. Well, Ethan probably doesn't even know. So let's have a listen to this.
Being here today to hear the update on where we are. Obviously, this has moved forward at lightning speed on lots of levels. So as it relates to the 2 suspects that were charged, the parents that were charged by our prosecutor, Karen McDonald, as you know, we activated a manhunt when charges were issued. To locate them immediately. Our partner from the United States Marshal Eastern District, Cyphers here, they, along with a lot of partners, quite frankly, immediately went into action. In addition to our fugitive apprehension team, their teams, Detroit Police was amazing. We'll get into that more. Obviously, we had the FBI involved, Michigan State Police. We had helicopter assistance from the United States Border Patrol. So everybody pitched in. We were confident we'd be able to find them in short order, and because they did. So we were notified by Detroit. They had received a tip that the vehicle had been seen. We were notified at 23:05, which is 11:05 p.m. Our fugitive folks arrived on scene with Detroit at 23:25, which is 11:25. Just 20 minutes after the call, they arrived downtown Detroit to be with Detroit. Detroit had seen a car, had secured the scene, had established a perimeter, done some great police work. Ultimately, at approximately 1:30 in the morning, the two suspects were taken into custody at 11 Bellevue in Detroit in a commercial vehicle. They were in an art studio within a building that has multiple kinds of partitions, if you will, in that building. They were taken in custody, as I said, at about 1:30 in the morning. Our fugitive apprehension team took custody and possession of them, and they were formally lodged in our jail, where they remain at about 0300, about 3 o'clock in the morning. So they are in our jail. All three of them, the son and both parents, they are segregated, each individually in isolation. We have advanced watch on them. There is no indicator that any of them, we always have every person that comes in take evaluated by counselor classification to determine if there's any threats.
So they're all in solitary confinement. That must be damn tough, but that's what you get, huh? So yeah, there's no way they'd be able to talk to each other or make contact with each other at all.
There was no indication that any of them were suicidal, but
His volume goes up and down.
our amazing corrections team is doing suicide watches on all three of them. So they are in custody and again in isolation. So that's a good step. The front as it goes to this, we believe, and I've had multiple communications with Chief White Detroit, our great partner, and another, again, shout out to his team for what they did, how they did it. And we've been in conversation and talking about some of the now follow-on information and evidence that we have. We believe they were assisted in that location to get there, to get in. And we're gathering that information, and we're going to have the totality of that done fairly soon and present that to our prosecutor for potential charges for either aiding and abetting or obstruction of justice. So that will be a determination by a prosecutor at some point in the near future, and that is a work in progress with all the other works in progress. Again, every time I get a chance, I want to throw out there to the public, if they have any information on either of these two or the individual, the shooter, please either contact us at OCSO, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, OCSO at oakgov.com, or call us at 248-858-4911. Any information, again, about either the actions in the school, proceeding actions in the school, or the follow-on as it relates to the two parents. And, of course, you can be confidential or pass that on in any way that you see fit. I know Mr. Marshall from the United States, just to go on and mention something there.
Yeah, thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. My name is Owen Cipher. I'm the U.S. Marshal for the Eastern District of Michigan. I would just like to say thank you on behalf of the United States Marshal Service to the Sheriff's Office here in Oakland County. Sheriff Bouchard and his team have always been phenomenal. We've always had a terrific partnership with the apprehension team and his staff. Our officers responded.
Well, they're all definitely patting themselves on the back, aren't they? The old boys club. I'm very proud of themselves. And I see them going into like a cigar room or something and wearing those robes like, what's that dude, with all the girls? I've forgotten his name. You know the dude. Hugh Hefner, that's it. I imagine them all putting robes on like that later and going to sit down with the men and having cigars and scotch because they did so well tonight. I've missed quite a few. The right to bear arms is one of our constitutional rights. Absolutely. Wyoming, so was my husband. He carried a permit, and all of his family. Sounds like these parents didn't take the right steps to educate their child. Okay, is this the Georgia place? Studies in the crime statistics proved it works as a deterrent. That's really interesting. I was allowed as a kid to get out a gun without my parents with me. Wow. Can't believe that. They are definitely responsible and should be charged. Yeah. But what with though?
The moment that we got the tip that the vehicle had been found in Detroit, and we had units out working all day yesterday. And last night they converged on the scene and were able to help the Detroit Police Department take those subjects into custody. I would also like to thank Chief White and his team down in Detroit. They did a phenomenal job of identifying the vehicle, locating the subject in a building that they believed they were in. As soon as we had enough personnel on site to search that building, we did so. We executed the warrants, and thankfully no one was hurt in the apprehension of these two individuals, and they are now safely in custody. So great thanks to Chief White and to Sheriff Richard and the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Detroit and Oakland County. They've always been great partners with the Marshal Service, and we truly appreciate that. So thank you, Sheriff.
I think that's really most of what the questions have been about so far today. Anybody else have any other questions?
Either of the that drive from Detroit to the jail and went forward to jail, is it going to get you?
Probably at this point, we're not going to talk about any evidence that may be presented, so that information will be turned over to the prosecutor, and anything about that will be forthcoming in relates to trial activities.
The is that a possibility?
Well, all I know is this, is that when we were informed we had an active warrant for them, there was some communication that came into one of our detectives that said that they were going to arrange for their arrest, turn themselves in, and that's fine. We don't wait for that. When we have serious charges like felonies, you can turn yourself in, you can go to court, you can come to any one of our substations, but we're going to go look for it immediately. And so we triggered, once the warrant was in hand, a full activation of looking for them, because there's a lot more tools at our disposal once we have a warrant. And we had been looking for them prior to that, but it was in a much more limited fashion. And that's the most I'm going to say about our investigative techniques. But then later in the morning, we had communication that the couple was not responding to text or phone calls of their attorney.
Yes.
So again, to us, that's irrelevant. We're looking for them. If they show up, fine. We're not going to sit at the front desk and tap our fingers until, again, we were out actively looking for them, working with our partners, and were taken into custody before.
So, Miss Justice, you said it's way harder to get a gun legally in Canada. So, tell us a bit about what it's like to go through to get a gun in Canada. Wyoming, I forgot to tell you, I've made this new rule because I'm trying to change things around and just do some experiments, actually. If you are a membership, you can be a moderator. So if you want to be a moderator, since you are a member, please let me know, and you can be blue or green. Change your mind. Okay, where are we? Mullet, no, but we're not there. We didn't know everything they do. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm against people using guns to shoot people, of course. I think we can all agree they were seriously negligent on many levels. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know really. 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter is the right charge for them. Well, this has not happened before, so it's all new, you know. Yeah, it's all new. It's weird. I don't know. I can't figure out how to do it, Wyoming. You'll just have to wait till I've got some more time. Okay, let's listen to this. Can you hear the questions in there?
That question was answered. Were they actually going to do it? I don't know. But given that they were hiding in a warehouse in Detroit, it certainly raises my eyebrows.
Why were they in Detroit?
That's part of the questions, obviously, why they were there, why they were in a commercial building in that form and fashion. They had located their other vehicle at a different location, prior to the warrant even being issued. As I said, we began a process of doing what we could before any warrants were in hand to look for them. And we found one other family vehicle at a different location, but they weren't there and there was no connectivity to them being there at that moment.
Sheriff, can you give some clarity as to how you know that they were hiding? They said they were in the building, were they specifically walked away or anything like that?
Well, when the tip came in, the person was apparently outside smoking and they pretty much ran away. And obviously, the way, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but I think where they were and how they were seems to support the position they were hiding, and they weren't looking for surrendering at that point.
What are the ramifications for people that don't see that RTL is? What are they looking at crime for? And the people that help them get taken into custody on the tomorrow.
Well, we obviously don't have any charges at this point, but that's part of the investigation. Normally, if there are charges that are applicable, that will be the prosecutor's decision. So we're trying to put together as much detailed information on that as it relates to that. Suffice to say, we have enough early indications that clearly somebody helped them into that location and made it available to them. And it was after it was publicly announced that there were warrants for it.
How much do you know about their whereabouts from Friday morning when they made this ATM withdrawal to the point where their cell phone shut off to when they're discovered? They know they were in Rochester Hills and they were found in Detroit. But do you know what happened in between, where they were, where they tried to go?
We don't have a whole lot of their movements because the last time our detectives actually saw them physically in person was when we executed search warrants on the home when the child in question was the suspect. So we were going to the house to seize anything of evidentiary value to the case at the school shooting. And at that point, there was no indication that the parents may or may not have been involved. It was purely an execution of a search warrant for evidence related to the shooting. That was the last time our detectives saw them. As soon as the prosecutor gave some indication that there would be potentially charges, our detectives began to do what we call a packet to prepare for if there are charges, where they might go, and began to do what we could to look for them, short of what the expanded capabilities are when you have an actual warrant, either a search warrant or an...
Okay, he's kind of boring me a little bit now, making me go to sleep. Where'd we get up to? Miss Justice plus RCMP have many stings and get illegal guns, drug and human trafficking. Yeah, there's bad cops everywhere, isn't there? Wyoming, I am too. When I was in school, my boyfriend would pick me up with his hunting rifle in the back window. No one got shot. I can tell you, it's not hard to pass a background check in the States. You guys can do a lot of things that we can't do here. Like, you get access to police files and stuff. We can't get access to police files and stuff over here. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Little Pookie, most people have their children on devices while they are on their devices and buy them games that are proven to cause issues. Yeah, I don't know if it's the type of games that you're referring to. It certainly becomes a problem when parents use games as a babysitter so that they don't have to interact with their child, or they don't, they can just go on their phone and leave the child to be for hours and hours and hours. I think that's neglectful, but I don't think the games that they were playing themselves would be to blame. Curious says, in New Zealand, a guy comes to your house to check you have a locked cupboard to store your guns. When they came to my hubby's license a few years ago, I wasn't to know where the keys were. Interesting. No, I mean the bust them. What? They. So no, I mean they bust them. I don't even know what you're referring to, hon. If I asked you something, or who knows? So, what do you think? I mean, there's a lot of bullying that goes on in schools these days. Even in New Zealand, there's a lot of bullying in schools. We haven't heard of anything yet saying that he was bullied, but I wouldn't be surprised if something along those lines came out. Little Pokey says Grand Theft Auto was one of Ethan Crumley's games years ago. It was my kids' games as well, and they are not going to shoot anybody. The RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Curious says, I always have my guns locked up and I live alone. Annie, hi honey, you made it. Missing all these lately is at work. I understand. I had work yesterday, so I couldn't do a stream or do any research. So I get it, but thank you for coming by. Okay, I have a couple more videos which are interesting, and add to stream. Yeah, something like that. All right.
Accused of opening fire inside Oxford High School.
Hang on.
Our top story this morning, the parents of alleged Oxford school shooter Ethan Crumley have been arrested.
That's right, and the two were found in the basement of a building in Detroit after an hour-long search. And Fox News' Veronica Meadows now live with the latest. Veronica, do we know officially that the arraignment is going to happen this morning, and when?
We do, Charlie. We just heard from the Oakland County Under Sheriff moments ago. He tells us the arraignment is set to happen at 9:30 this morning. So at that point, we are expecting the parents of Ethan Crumley to face a judge for the first time for their charges of involuntary manslaughter. Now, all of this follows an hours-long manhunt and several agencies all coming together, working together after the parents went on the run. The U.S. Marshals, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and several other law enforcement agencies, including Detroit Police, all working together. A community tip led investigators in Detroit to a building that houses art studios that was on Lafayette Street in Detroit. Early this morning, police made that arrest. Detroit Police Chief James White says his officers found the fugitives in the basement. It appears someone let them in. The parents were taken into custody at that point without issue. So yesterday, their attorney spoke out, insisting the parents were not on the run. She says they left town fearing for their safety and were headed back to the arraignment. But investigators tell us the parents had several opportunities to turn themselves in, but they did not. And as you saw, that led to that hours-long manhunt yesterday. Now, this all comes after the parents' son Ethan Crumley is accused of opening fire in Oxford High School earlier this week, killing 4 teenagers. The Detroit police chief elaborating on the team effort that it took to get those parents into custody. Take a listen.
Good night, Pam. I do understand, and I'm sorry, but we'll see you on the next one, hon. Thank you so much.
The Detroit police chief, we apologize for that technical. The police chief reiterated multiple times at a press conference earlier this morning about how all of the law enforcement agencies, through their quick work, surveillance was set up, the U.S. Marshals, Detroit Police, FBI, really all working together. And earlier, we also heard from the U.S. Marshals really telling us just how close to home this hits for their community, knowing the tragedy that took place in Oxford.
See you, Tara. Oh, no, it was no, it wasn't. I think it was Annie Hall that was going to leave. Or going to watch the rest. I don't know. Hi, anyway, Tara. Good to see you.
They say that they hope by doing this, they hope to help bring justice and eventually closure for the victims' families. Now, again, that arraignment is set to happen at 9:30. Both parents are facing several charges of involuntary manslaughter. And of course, we'll be here to bring you the very latest just as soon as we know more. But for now, Charlie, we'll sit back to you.
I heard your interview that you did earlier with a federal marshal, and I believe that he believed that the parents were hiding from authorities. But we also heard, based on your report, that there was at least one person, maybe more, but at least one person that helped the parents hide. Are you hearing any possible charges to be brought against that person that may have helped these parents hide?
Yeah, Charlie, we have been following up, asking those questions last night. That's definitely something we're going to be asking again this morning. At this point, it's unclear if there will be charges against that person. Police tell us they are looking into it, but they have not exactly made a decision on that yet. But of course, when we find out any more information, we'll let you know.
All right, I appreciate that. I know you're following this, and you...
Oh, wow. So you watched the Zoom, Tara? Wyoming, same for me in my state, lots of hunting here. Oh, Annie's at work. Burger. Yeah, take care, Pam. What? Oh, yeah. The fact they went on the run proves they don't give a crap, and it wasn't a big deal to them just to leave their son. Oh, fuck it, we'll just leave our son there. Just like when school reached out and they couldn't be bothered. Yeah, you're right. Do you mean the Zoom arraignment? Because I've got that next, I think, if it's the same one. Aiding and abetting. Yeah, like for this one, it sounds like the parents are going to get taken down, and Ethan's obviously going to get taken down, and the school might get taken down. People in the school might be taken down, and then this friend or whatever who helped them escape. This may be like a mass arrest situation, and what's that setting a precedent for coming after that? The mother's text to the son, don't get caught. Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Too busy trying to be the cool parents. Yeah, I went through that stage and it didn't really last very long, to be honest. Wouldn't it be sad if shooting was misplaced anger from bad home situation? Well, this is what we have to talk about too. What was going on in this little kid's life that was so bad that he felt like he had to do that, you know? I mean, he's still a murderer. Don't get me wrong. He deserves to go to prison for the rest of his... Well, does he deserve to go to prison for the rest of his life? There's another thing that could be talked about. But yeah, what led him up to this? What does lead children up to do this? Remember the Slender Man stabbing? Yeah, that was terrible. Lawsuits against school? Well, you know, they have hinted that the school may be in trouble here, so it would be interesting. I heard he was bullied. Yeah, that's usually a common denominator with these things. I remember Slender Man and the two girls. It was just ridiculous. But what happens is what happens. Hey, one of my mods, when you click the 3 dots on the side, are you able to make them a mod? I'm just going to go on my other page and just check. Come on, where's my comments? Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to find out what's going on here. You know, I always have some technical breakdowns. Okay, so I have actually got a video of the arraignment of the parents if we are all interested in watching it. He was supposedly bullied horribly, but had no direct victims. Needs psychiatric help. Absolutely, he does, Miss Justice. Little Pookie says the sheriff says there were no reports of bullying in the school. Okay, interesting. Nah, yeah, I'm just trying to do it from this other page, but it's just not working. I might be able to figure it out after. We'll see. What the fuck is on there for? Mullet. Of course he was wrong, but he did a school shooting and the parents still just ran off and still didn't care to be there. There's a lot going on in this case. There's a lot of red flags. Yeah, there surely is. People shoot people, unfortunately, and use guns, but people get murdered in other ways too. Yes, they do. Thank you, Pookie. Cookie, that is what I heard, but wasn't sure the school would be forthcoming. On the rocks, I think children don't understand consequences or temporariness of my school. That's a really big word for me. Little Pookie says the liaison officer said he had never gotten a report of bullying. Interesting. Mullet said, is anyone aware of the criminal history of his parents, drug, alcohol abuse, or domestic violence? There's a lot going on. I think we just don't know as of yet. Absolutely, they've got to be shitloads that we don't know yet. For sure. Hey, Tara, YouTube is weird today. My chat is below video on my desktop. I have to pop out chat. Yeah, we're having a bit of I've been having a bit of trouble today and the other day with this. Evidently, I'm still a mod. I just checked. Cool. Few bullied kids report cause fear of retaliation. Yeah, because there's, snitches get stitches and you're a narc. So many people don't, and that's why a lot of people don't speak up for crimes or anything. Tara, click on default view. Yeah, that'll work. On the rocks and the soil, in my opinion, violent video games help blur the lines. I guess there has to be, in a percentage, say, and all the percentage of adults and children or adults and whatever who play those video games, the small percentage that may have been caused by watching a video game, I think is very, very simple. I brought up 2 boys. I've been and watched shitload of their friends watch and play these games, and there's no way they would ever do anything like that. Tara, mother is an alcoholic. It's in the arraignment. Okay, we'll have a look soon. And 80 to 100% on the magnifying glass. Thank you, Pookie. It is proven the violence desensitizes. Tara, I'm trying out this new thing. Where members, when you become a member, as a perk, you can be a mod if you want to be a mod. So let me know if that's something you want to do. It's just that I haven't been able to figure out how to do it on here yet. So yeah, let me know if that's something you'd be interested. It's just like a trial thing. See what's going on. All right, this is
Justin Schilling
click on
with
Detroit.com.
involuntary manslaughter, which is
33 minutes, but we'll take breaks.
James Blake. Can you hear and see the court?
Yes.
Karen McDonald, can you hear and see the court?
Judge.
Set. I'm going to go ahead and call these cases separately. I'm going to starting with People versus Jennifer Crumbly, docket number 2100662. Can I have appearances on the record, starting with the prosecutor?
Karen McDonald, on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Mark Keith on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Shannon Smith on behalf of Jennifer Crumbly.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marielle Lehman on behalf of James Crumbly. I do want to address one issue first. Ms. Lehman and Ms. Smith, you are practicing in the same firm, is that correct?
Your Honor, that's correct. We have spoken to both of our clients about conflicts of interest. We have had in-depth conversations with them. Marielle Lehman and I are representing both of them. We are representing James and Jennifer, and the conflict of interest question or issue has been very much discussed and resolved. And we believe at this time, ethically and professionally, we can continue on in this fashion.
Okay, well, as you know, pursuant to MCR 6.005, subsection F1, you must state on the record the reasons that you believe joint representation in all will not cause a conflict of interest. So please state that for the record in accordance with the court rules.
Thank you, Your Honor. After reviewing the circumstances and facts of the case, and one of the things I need to make clear is that the media has very much been saturated with cherry-picked facts. But when we have talked to our clients in depth and learned all of the circumstances of the case, which obviously are covered by attorney-client privilege, there is not a conflict of interest between what happened. I cannot divulge to you the specific reasons, but there is not a conflict of interest between the parents, their defense, and their defense strategy.
Prosecutor, any comments or statements you want to make relative to?
Welcome, Trixie Star and Jamie. It's awesome to have you both here.
Conflicts of interest.
Your Honor, I'm not sure that there's any facts that have been placed on the record that meets the standard. I'm not saying that I object, but I'm not sure that we have satisfied the court rule. If Mr. Keys has something to add,
I'm required to inquire as to each defendant as well. Jennifer Crumbly, do you have any objection to Ms. Lehman and Ms. Smith representing both you and Mr. Crumbly for this case, recognizing that they come from the same firm and they come both you?
I have no objection.
Mr. Crumbly, likewise for you. Do you have any objection to both Ms. Lehman and Ms. Smith representing both you and Ms. Crumbly as it relates to this particular case?
No objection, Your Honor.
Do either of you have any questions or concerns about a potential conflict of interest? Mr. Crumbly?
No.
Ms. Crumbly?
No.
Okay. At this point, the court is satisfied that both of the defendants are comfortable with both attorneys representing them in this case. The attorneys have indicated on the record that they do not believe that there is a conflict of interest, and they have spoken with both defendants in depth relative to any potential conflict of interest and whether or not their representation may jeopardize the right of each defendant to have the undivided loyalty of their lawyers. Therefore, the court will allow them to appear for purposes of arraignment today on behalf of both defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, in terms of the arraignment, Jennifer Crumbly, I'm going to arraign you first. So if you'll please make sure you get close to that microphone so they can hear you. If at any time you're not here or see me, please put your hand up and we'll stop the proceedings and then try to figure out what's going on. Do you understand that you are charged with the following counts? Count 1, involuntary manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or to a $7,500 fine and mandatory DNA for the death of Madison Baldwin. Do you understand that that is the charge for count 1? Mr. Crumbly, you need to verbally respond. Do you understand that you are charged in count 2 for the death of Tate Meyer? Involuntary manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or up to a $7,500 fine and mandatory DNA.
I understand.
Do you understand that you are charged in count 3 for the death of Hannah St. Juliana with involuntary manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or up to a $7,500 fine along with mandatory DNA testing?
I understand.
Do you understand you're charged in count 4 for the death of Justin Schilling with involuntary manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or up to $7,500 fine along with mandatory DNA testing?
I understand.
Do you understand that you do have the right to plead guilty?
That's poor. No, she's not. She is a poor woman right at this stage. I mean, she's lost her son. She knows she's in big trouble. She knows she's going to get the book thrown at her. And all she's hearing is 15 years, 15 years, 15 years. I mean, it must be coming to her that she's going to prison for a fucking long time, to be honest. Malik, good night. Thanks for being here. See you on the next one. Yeah, so I can see why she would be upset.
To almost count.
I understand.
And do you understand that you do have a right to a trial, either by jury or by judge? And at that trial, you would have the opportunity to call witnesses on your behalf, confront witnesses that have been called against you, and or to remain silent, and that you be to prove guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand all those trial rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole or any other offense? Ma'am, I'll ask the question again. Are you on probation or parole for any offense?
No.
And how are you pleading to count 1?
Not guilty.
How are you pleading to count 2?
Not guilty.
How are you pleading to count 3?
Not guilty.
How are you pleading to count 4?
Not guilty.
The court will enter the pleas of not guilty for you for all 4 counts. The court will set the probable cause conference, which is going to be on December 14th. Amy, what time do we have that one? You could do 9. That is December 14th at 1:15 p.m. The preliminary examination is scheduled for December 22nd at 9:45 a.m. Those will be in-person hearings.
Your Honor, just as a matter for our file, are you assigned for the place of exam and the pre-exam, or is it a different judge within the court?
It is me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to address bond in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and arraign Mr. James Crumbly first. Mr. James Crumbly, see and hear the court okay?
Yes.
And do you understand, sir, that you are charged in count 1 for the death of Madison Baldwin of involuntary manslaughter, which is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or to a $7,500 fine and mandatory DNA?
No, don't do that. Uh-oh. We're having crappy computer problems. Please don't do this to me. Please. Be nice. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hi, Sherry. Come on. Oh, I think I'm back. Can you just hear me? It's just someone can hear me. Okay, cool. Even though something's going on and frozen, I can still talk to you. So that is good. Hi, Sherry. Welcome to the team. We're just having some technical issues, which, you know, shit happens. So yeah, if these parents say that they are not guilty, pleading not guilty, then there's going to be a trial. And I think it's going to be a trial that is watched by everybody. I think this is going to be the next new case, you know, as cases move on. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And it's going to set a precedent for the rest of America's life, really. Depending on what happens. I mean, are parents everywhere going to, in schools, going to be sued when there's a live active shooter? Is it their fault? The parents' fault? Tara says we heard you the whole time in the court freezes. Oh my God. I was probably like swearing and everything. Please remember to hit the thumbs up if you enjoy my content and hard work. Please subscribe. It's free. Yeah, please. Whatever you can do to help the channel become bigger. You know, we normally do cold cases, and the reason we need to be shared and everything is to get these cases out as far as they can go, because that's how we're going to get the people to see them that we need to see them. I mean, this seems over the top in a big way, how they are putting so many charges on the parents and maybe suing the school. But maybe they've just had enough of this school shooting crap, and they want to make a stop and want to make a stand and something to try and stop it. And maybe this is what they're trying to do, because they don't know what else to do. Maybe, just saying, in my opinion. Parents' lawyer said the prosecutor is trying to make a name for herself with the drama. So that'll be like Stephen Bertolino in the laundry case. Yeah, welcome, Sherry. Wyoming, something needs to stop school shootings. And Mallet says, I think this is an outlier case. I can't actually move any of your content onto the screen either, because it's still kind of frozen. Agree, setting a standard. Little Pookie prosecutor states she has digital evidence she can't release right now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what she means, but apparently that school had so many cameras that everything that happened is caught on camera. Hopefully it's not leaked. I don't think that's something we all need to watch, really. Yeah. And any kind of mass shooting, setting a precedent, I reckon, holding people accountable to try and stop it, because it just happens too often. It's horrible. And, you know, in New Zealand, when we hear, oh, did you hear there's been another mass shooting in America? It's like, oh, yeah, just another one. Because it happens so often, you know. We shouldn't feel that way. It's terrible. When you hear the Bond, it's amazing. Yeah, well, I don't know if I can get it to play. So, great chat here. We all have opinions and talk about it drama-free. Yes, That's what our channel is about, is having discussions like adults, trying logical thinking. I don't mind having people's ideas. I'd like to know where they get their ideas from, but yeah. No, the prosecutor about the parents. Oh, right. You may have to close stream and come back in. Yeah, I might have to try and do that. So give me a moment, eh? I want to take down the stream. Why don't you let me take the stream down? Motherfucker. What are you trying to do to me? Okay, I'm trying to, but it's not working. I don't even know if you can hear me. Come on, you piece of shit. I need a new computer. Oh, this is so horrible. I feel so bad. Okay, I'm coming in, just if you can hear me, to read. Wyoming said, yeah, it does happen too much here. I agree, it's very sad. Marlett says it will set a precedent, but the evidence against the parents, we haven't seen that before. Yes, you're right, we haven't seen that before. So it'll be interesting how they proceed with that. Little Perky can hear me. Oh, you still hear me. Whenever my computer goes funky, I think he can't hear me. Oh my God. I'm even trying to Control Alt Delete. It's just giving me fucking nothing. Tara says Millet Mayhem, it's on the Zoom. Prosecutors is the one in the dead center. Sherry, they caught them in Detroit, which is 20 minutes north of us. You can get into Canada through Detroit. I think they may have been possibly trying to cross the border. Absolutely, that's a big possibility that they were trying to do that, because they had taken $4,000 out of a ATM apparently. So, I don't know what was the money for, if that's correct. Maybe it was to help them if they got over yonder into play, you piece of poo. Sorry guys, all we can have is a discussion at the moment because nothing else is working. Wyoming says you're not the only one this happens to, TJ. Computer problems on live streams. Yeah, I've got to get a new one. This one does not handle the software in that very well because it's just not made for this. But you know, it's going to take me a lot of time to try and get a new one. But it does what it needs to most of the time. But yeah, I don't think it's a YouTube computer. I think it's more just a normal daytime computer, you know. Tara, yes, bond is $500,000 each. Now tell me about that, girls. What does that mean? How much do they actually have to pay to get out? How does that work? Please let me know. Little Perky, I heard they were in a hotel or a commercial building. Now, apparently it was an art studio. Tara, they'll make them bond and commodity. Yeah, I've seen that. Wyoming, we can raise money for you. No, you can't do that, Wyoming. No. Who would want to help me? That's ridiculous. Little Perky says, and no 10% at Tara. So what are you talking about? That you normally would have to pay 10% of that to get out, and this time they're not allowed to. Is that what you're saying? Mother is not allowed to drink. Full 500,000, a fourth of the bond, I think. Someone's saying 500,000. Oh, interesting. Wyoming Adventures, go for it. If you wanted to do that, it would mean the world to me. I just don't see that many people wanting to help me. But yeah, go ahead. Tara used to bond out, so it'll be interesting if they do bond out then. Yeah. So it still goes back to what the hell has been going on in this boy's life that he's got to this point. Are the school accountable for what has happened here? Do they have any liability here? Or is it all to do with the parents? Little Pookie says, normally yes, 10% cash and then a bondsman signs a bond for the whole amount. Right. But Tara is probably right because every case can be different. Right. Hey, Prolific, good to see you. Hey, all just wanted to say if I have to leave, it's 1 a.m. nearly, and I'm at work 5 a.m., but I appreciate you, TJ. You're an angel. Oh, thank you so much. This is nice when people say nice things to me. And do you know what's like the most thing that caused me the most anxiety is when I schedule a live and then it can tell you how many people are waiting to see you, like how many viewers. And then when like I've got 2 minutes to go and then I get like 1 or 2 or 3, I'm like, oh, people are waiting for me. It makes me feel so good. Takes my anxiety away. Sherry said, little Pookie, someone opened the door to that building and now Detroit police stated whomever helped them could catch aiding and abetting charges. Yeah, it sounds like they just want to take as much people down as possible for this to set a precedent. That's what I see. Mullet says, I just want to say I never immediately blame the parents, but this case has the evidence. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm innocent before proven guilty. We know that, and I'm not bashing the parents whatsoever, and you guys aren't. You are great. But we're talking about the things that are evident, that we can see that they have done, that they've said, I don't think the school did anything wrong. The teacher reported in, they had in the next day. Yes, that teacher reported 2 days. She reported it to the counsellor. So I think that teacher deserves a damn medal for picking up on those signs. And it's just sad that she picked up on those signs and she tried to move it along and get someone to handle it, and then it just went to bullshit. That's right. I cannot click. I can't change the screen. I can't click on you. All I can do is read. Tara says it's a woman. Okay. Little Pookie says, I don't think the school did anything wrong. The teacher reported and they had the mess next day. Just guessing, it's too early to know facts. They let him in. I heard that too, Little Pookie. It's all come out in the wash. Teacher caught him looking up ammunition. Yeah, she did. And she sent him to the counsellor or to the office. And I think what we read was that they did it again. I can't even move these. The only way I would be able to get to where we were before is to restart the computer. And, I'm not going to do that. So we'll just chat. we'll do it on a budget, live stream on a budget. So I don't understand why Michigan doesn't have a law to lock guns away. What's with that? That's weird. Little Pookie says Crumley's eggs said they are indulgent with Evan. Well, they are. They bought him a gun for his birthday. It's fine, Tara. Thanks, hon. Wyoming says, that's so crazy, Tara, a kid buying ammo. It's unreal. So can kids buy ammo like on the streets, or do they have to go online and get it online? That's probably where he could get it, They give free trigger blocks for the guns. Oh my God. That's crazy. Curious, do you want our police force like holding guns, wearing guns? Since we are starting to get a bit of like crime, gun crime, yeah. What about his Instagram? We didn't see his Instagram, Tara. What was that about? You'd have to tell us. Because I can't look. Tara, his parents would buy it. Yeah. You say a big no, curious. You don't want our police force carrying guns. Wyoming says kids can't buy ammo here in my state. You have to be 18. Okay. So he either bought it off the net, because you can get anything off the fucking net, I tell you. So he probably bought them on the net. Or did Dad buy? Well, they said that they were going out to the shooting range, right? So they needed to have bullets to do that. So maybe he was just looking up better bullets, but get them at home, you know. Little Pookie says he could not legally buy at 15. Tara says it's Illuminati. SP states I am coming for Oxford High School. High tomorrow. Alrighto. Curious, they have access to them now. Some have them locked in their cars. That's plenty, in my opinion. Well, it is until we had, we've had a few cops shot on the job lately. We've had a few gang violence with guns. It seems to be getting worse. It's nowhere near America in any shape or form, but we are getting more gun crime, which is not nice, of course. Oh my God, I want to throw this fucking thing out the window. There's like even better programs that I could use for making my videos and stuff like that, but this computer won't run them. So it's really frustrating. I have to just use basic software, and that's why my videos don't look well put together a lot of the time. But that's just the way the world goes. Wyoming says shortages of ammo here. Interesting. Is that because COVID and people have bought them all, or they can't access them because they can't in the country? It was weird. I must tell you, my last tattoo, my tattooist was looking online to buy tattoo ink because apparently it was running out because they couldn't get it in the country. Little Pookie says the gun was for him for Christmas. They had gone to the gun range to practice. Little Pookie says, do you have multiple windows open? Yeah, I do, because I have what we're looking at and I have the stream, but not as many as usual. And it's never done this before. But it's doing that not responding thing. And all I've got is a yellow little thing. And I mean, I can't click on anything. The only thing that's going is you guys. So it's freaking weird. Wyoming says everyone has been hoarding ammo in the States because of prepping and current issues. Yeah, for sure. That's a big thing. I don't think it's a big thing here, but definitely a big thing for you guys. So, what's an appropriate sentence for these parents? Bearing in mind, on one hand, yes, they made mistakes, but it was not them that shot the children, okay? It was not them. What do you think an appropriate sentence is for these parents? Let me know. Same in Florida, Mullet. One of the mods posts the membership link. It's in the description box. Little Pookie says put their son in prison. Yeah, but it looks like they're trying to put the parents in prison as well. And they've got, both of them have got 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter on each of them. That's a lot. Each of those charges can be 15 years. They could go to prison for the rest of their lives for what their son did. Yeah. But because it looks like they're going to try and make a statement with this, and they're going to try and, sounds like they're going to try and sue everybody they can. They're going to charge the school and the counselor and the parents. And yeah. So what's fair for these parents? Is it fair that they get locked up for the rest of their lives because of what their son did? Or should they pay for their mistakes with something short? I mean, they've lost their son too. I'm not defending them, but they've lost their son too. Mullet says felony negligence to highest degree and loss of rights to own. Will says our police force carry guns already. Little Pookie says just because the prosecutor charged does not mean she will get a conviction. This is right. I mean, it's all going to come down to the trial, isn't it, really? And see if any of it sticks, really. Yeah. Wyoming says for the parents, a couple of years, I think, for the kid, prison, and all need mental health help. Don't like seeing a kid in prison for life. Yeah, that's a hard one too. I don't like seeing a young one in prison for life. I agree that it's a big topic, isn't it, guys? When you have your views and then you change them a bit, and the charge of manslaughter has a limited sentence, right? Mullet said they didn't fear for their son's mental health for 15 years, so 15 years to think about what they did wrong kind of seems fitting too. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, something like that. Shauna, hello, welcome. Yes, they shouldn't be able to buy guns for the rest of their lives. So, Shauna, what's going on is my computer has crashed. I can't show you anything. I can't show you my face. All I can do is talk to you because the chat's the only thing that's going. So that's what we're doing. And we're talking about the Michigan school shooting at Oxford School. And we're talking about any other stuff that comes up, really. Because, yeah, why not? Yeah, Mala, I like that. 15 years. I reckon 15 years would be appropriate. Tara says family dynamic is off. The father's other son gets peanuts from him. Little Pookie says involuntary manslaughter means they did not mean to but were careless, which sounds about right, doesn't it? I guess. Involuntary manslaughter means they did not mean to but were careless. Yeah, they were careless with that gun and their son. So yeah, I'm glad that the parents were charged, Shauna. We were just discussing, though, what is an appropriate sentence for what they've done. I don't think they should go to prison for the rest of their lives for something that someone else did. It was not them, it was their son. What do you think? I think it's possible the parents will get off. It doesn't make sense to convict him as an adult plus hold the parents accountable. They might have some restrictions and a slap on the wrist. Possibly, curious, yeah. Little Pookie says it's the same as a DUI accident involving death. Tara says, remember each count is 15 years. You usually never get that amount. Yeah. It's going to be one to watch, though, so we're going to have to keep an eye on it. For sure. And, I always say to you guys, if you are around and you see articles and updates on cases that we cover, send them to me so that I know what's going on, because sometimes I can't access the same articles as you guys, or I just don't have time. So you can always send them to nzmissing@gmail.com. Also in the description box is all the links that I've used today to read the articles and videos, how to donate to the channel, how to find us on Facebook, how to join our membership. And if you join our membership for less than a cup of coffee a month, you get some funny pictures that you can use, and you also get to be a moderator on the channel. This is a trial to see how it goes, but that's how we're doing it. Max sentence in Michigan is 15 years, Little Pookie says. Wyoming says, I hope the parents don't get by without punishment. Oh, yeah, they need to get something. I'm not saying they need to, just get out scot-free. They had some part in this, and they need to take accountability, and they need to have some punishment. Shauna says, with the way our justice system is here, 15 years is good. They'd be out in 8 to 10. Pookie says, good chance on good behaviour. They may serve at 50%. Wyoming says, sorry, TJ, I will learn to post your links. It's all right. You'll get it. I will wait to see what evidence they have to give them a break. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we've got lots of things that we know that they've done wrong. We've got evidence of it, but we don't know the full story quite just yet of what's happening. So, and that will all come out in court. We'll find out. Mental health is a big problem. It sure is. And we don't know if that had a part to play in what happened at all. Not sure. So that's probably stuff that will come out as well. I mean, it's clear that he was a disturbed young man. That's very, very clear. How disturbed was he? Or how did he present to people? How did he present at school? How did he present at home? How long has he been like this? Has he been like this for many years and the parents haven't done anything? Who knows? Curious says, sorry, I couldn't find that link. I kept getting booted out. I'll find it. It's cool. Prosecutor is strong. She has evidence against both parents, not just the mother. I don't know if I can get it because my computer froze. Okay, so if you want to be a member, the membership link is in the description box below. And then you get your name green, but you actually are blue as well because you can be a moderator. It's awesome. I know the kid killed, but it's so sad. Yeah, I agree. I mean, because he must have been going through some hell. I mean, one of his notes said, help me. So he knew he needed help. And yeah, that's really, really sad. I work in mental health and addiction, guys. And this is really sad to me. Curious says, please remember to hit the thumbs up. If you enjoy TJ's content and hard work, please subscribe. It's free. And remember, guys, that I do a lot of videos as well, shitloads of videos, mostly about New Zealand cases, but sometimes around the world as well. And yeah, go and look at them. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Share a video somewhere. Anything would be cool. Like, follow, share. Whatever you do. This is Shauna. It bothers me that other kids had an idea something was going to happen and stayed home but didn't tell anyone. Wyoming says, I love your channel, TJ, and no one helped that poor kid. Oh, thanks, Wyoming. Sherry, can you tell me your email again if anything comes up so I can send it in? Yeah, sure. It's nzmissing@gmail.com. What the hell's this? Sorry, nzmissing@gmail.com. Yeah, and so what we usually do, Sherry, is each live, and I can't book them in advance too much because of my health condition and my real job. But each time we just go through 4 or 5 cold cases from around the world, and we find out all about them. And then, yeah, I usually say if people find updates to send them to me because you get more of them than I do. It's easy for you to find them. So, yeah. Or you can go through Facebook page. He messaged me through that as well. I'm wondering if it is the onset of schizophrenia. Yeah, we don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Wait till the trial comes and go from there. They saw his Instagram. I'm not sure what his Instagram was. Wyoming says your videos are great. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Curious, thank you, my Facebook. And she's put email. You're a rock star. Because I do work really, really hard at trying to keep a community together. I'm actually, I've had a podcast for a long time, and because of time limits and health limits, all I've been doing is loading my videos onto the podcast and then saying a little blurb at the beginning and at the end, and then just doing that. But it's quite successful, and I have a lot of people that text me and thank me for it. Oh, I'm going on log drives and I always put on. But I'm thinking that of giving it up because it's just another thing. And I know this sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but it's not making me any money at all, right? And I work so many hours at my real job, and then I work so many hours on the internet. There's just another thing that I can't do. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that, and I don't want it to sound like I'm greedy and I'm taking it down because I'm not getting any money. Yeah, that's not me. Wyoming Adventures, Curious Kiwi. Yeah, TJ's Facebook is great too. Yeah, I love my community on my Facebook. Shauna says, Little Pookie, it could be. It's rare to happen that early. Usually happens between 18 and 25. Tara says, I'm trying to pull it up to put link. Curious Kiwi is a great mod. She is a great mod. I think all of you are great mods, actually. And, this new thing with mods being made when they're members, that doesn't change anything because I'm still going to pick my own mods or unpick them, as the case may be, if something goes wrong. But I think by now you already know what I like. Curious says, only a rock, not a star, since I can't find that other link. Are you looking for the membership link? Sure, it's just like in the description box. Wyoming says, can I do links from my phone? My laptop is broke. I have no idea unless you try it and tell us whether you can. Shauna Blackwood says, true, but Anissa had symptoms at 3 years old and was diagnosed at 13 after the Slender Man stabbing. Oh, that case was bizarre. I understand TJ time consuming on the internet. Yeah, it is. And another thing I wanted to ask you guys, because it's always, the same people in here, which I love because it means that I can engage with each and every one of you, which I find cool. I'm hoping that maybe in the future some of you might like to come on panel and talk to me about cases and have a chat. You wouldn't have to show your face, you could just have it audio. But yeah, that would be cool. Curious, I'm going to have to look at the Slender Man stabbing. Oh, have you not seen it? It's tragic. Some kids are cruel, man. I would hate to be a kid in this day and age. I would hate to be a kid in America. 60 schools have been closed down since this shooting. And imagine when the kids go back to that school, how absolutely terrified those poor wee souls and the teachers and staff are going to be to go back to that school. That is going to be so traumatic for them, in my opinion. It just hurts. Wyoming says, I would do that sometime, TJ. Come on your channel. Oh, that's good. I can't do it today because I can't do anything on my damn thing. Was it Sherry I was talking to, and Shauna? Even if you have case suggestions, if you see cases that are cold that could use a bit of help to get some traction, also let me know, and I can look at that too. School shooting happens way too often. It does happen way too often. In your country, it happens way too often. Not here in New Zealand. We don't have that at all, thank goodness. And I'm hoping we never do. Wyoming says bullying is a big problem in schools. Yeah, bullying is a big problem everywhere. We know how bad bullying is on the internet, on social media, in real school. It's everywhere. It's hard to find somebody in this life that has not been bullied at some time. And some people get really, really triggered and sick because of it. Tara says, I'm reading, sorry, clue number 1, he brought a dead deer to school. Oh, okay. Interesting. Mullet says, sociopathy presents at that age. I didn't hear about a schizophrenic disorder in olden age. A lot of times that's an umbrella diagnosis, especially if the patient is malingering. Thanks for that. Curious, did you have a look at the Minnie Dean case, TJ? She was charged, so it's not a cold case. It's just very interesting. No, I don't think I did. Shauna, I was bullied as a kid, but I would never have thought to take a gun to school. Yeah, this is right. You know, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people are bullied and they don't do this. Thousands and millions of people watch these games and play these games and they don't do this. But not everybody handles. I mean, we don't even know if he was bullied at this stage. So we're just talking generally about bullying. Everyone's going to react differently to getting bullied, aren't they? No one's going to react the same way every time. And I think that some people it affects more than others, and some people it just pushes them over the edge. They just can't take it anymore. In regard to the Senderman case. Okay. Oh my God, Tara, that's crazy. A dead deer. Did everyone see him pretending to be the sheriff? No. And I can't get you to send me to them because my computer's effed out. That's just got it. In schools in Detroit, they have metal detectors. We need to legislate it mandatory for all in cameras. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Very good. And I know it's not nice for the kids, like having to go through that, but it's a lot nicer than getting shot. No. Shauna says the ease of getting a gun in this country is crazy. No, I can't even click on links, Tara. All I've got for my mouse is one of those round blue things. Don't know if you can see it on screen. She's there. Sherry's there. No, I can't click on anything. I can't move anything. I can't shut it down. The only thing I'm going to do when I'm finished with you guys is just like restart the whole thing. You have to follow the link to TikTok. Or maybe you guys in the chat might be able to do it. Have a look. Wyoming says, good idea, Sherry. I think they do that in California too. Sad that they have to do that, but I think it's a good thing. Right, I'm going to go, guys. I've been on here 2 hours now. That's just pretty good for me. A bit tired and angry because of my computer. I'm really, really sorry that happened, guys, with the computer. Yeah, it just frustrates me. because I have so many ideas that I want to do to make videos and live streams better, and I just can't. So it really annoys me. So I want to say goodbye to Little Pookie, Curious Kiwi, Wyoming Adventures, Tara. I have to remember Sherry, Shauna Blackwood, Trixie popped in. How many? I probably missed some, so sorry about that. Take care, Pookie, Shauna. I'll see you in the next couple of days, and I'll try and figure this shit out. If I don't come back onto YouTube, it's because I threw this out the window. All right, guys. I can't even end broadcast. Shit. All right, I'll figure it out another way. See you later, guys. Love yous.